DuckTalks is part of Res TV's network of podcasts. Check out res.tv for other great podcasts.
Uncle Scrooge, all this constant adventuring is tearing us apart!
Nonsense. We're closer than ever. Hey, kids.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
This needs to stop!
I've tried, but they really do enjoy harmonizing.
With all the nonstop danger, we never get any quality time. Do we even really know each other? I mean, is this Huey? Or Dewey? I don't know. Which one has the hat?
There's no better bonding experience than a high-stakes, death-defying adventure.
What about a quiet movie night in? Oh, or make your own pizza night. Ooh, how about game night?
Game night? Game night! Game night! Game night! Game night!
Ready for a relaxing night in?
It's the week of Wednesday, October 24th, and you're listening to episode 46 of DuckTalks. Hey there, and welcome to DuckTalks. We've got a great show for you this week. We're going to be discussing the truth behind those rumored episode titles. We're also going to review the Season 2 premiere episode, The Most Dangerous Game Night. What's with these awkward titles?
You forgot the exclamation point at the end.
It's because I was caught off guard every time I say it. The Most Dangerous Game Night.
Or The Most Dangerous Game Night.
Yeah, that was it. Okay. Josh said it right.
Josh got it. Way to go, Josh. I'm one of your hosts. My name's Mitch. Joining me, as usual, Josh and Pyre Steven.
Ahoy.
Woohoo.
What's up, guys? You've been enjoying this week of new DuckTales?
Yeah, we waited so long for these new episodes. No, it was only like a month.
Isn't it weird after going through a 5-month hiatus that season 1 to season 2 was like, it was less than 2 months, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an amazing week. Love getting back into it with new material. So thank you to all the people that made this episode, including Tanner Johnson, who may or may not be listening.
Man, there was, and I don't have this in the notes, there was a little bit of drama online with the episode, though, not showing up on Disney Now. Whew, that caught people off guard.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of people that like to have their overnight parties as soon as it comes on and watch it first on the app. And I know I usually like to catch it. I wake up early, and if it's on at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., I like to tweet out that PSA it's available, but it never showed up till like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, which is weird.
Yeah, and the showrunners came to social media and were letting people know that they were hearing that it wasn't up. I'm sure they were getting a lot of tweets and posts from Tumblr and places like that, but they knew that it wasn't up and they had someone working on it, and it wasn't long after that it showed up.
Yeah, and Frank was saying he was hearing it from his kids, so don't worry, he knows about it. And I mean, it's weird because they went with the earlier show time slot. Was it 7:30?
Yeah, it was early.
So that you have to get up there early or have your DVR set. We had a DVR set, so I was able to watch it whenever. But yeah, it was also on demand. On demand was on time this time.
Yeah.
Usually Disney Now is the first opportunity to see it, so hopefully they get their act together. I mean, it was the premiere. Like, did they not know it was happening?
Well, it feels that way. It didn't show up in Amazon or iTunes till later that day either. Maybe even I think it was that day. It was late because I kept checking because we talked about how last week I talked about how I was using Sling TV. I'm no longer using Sling TV because they never got the episode 2 days later, and I still couldn't rewatch the episode. So I made some calls and made some changes to how I'm going to enjoy my entertainment from now on. Got that taken care of and have access to Disney Now again. So yeah, and I can record. So I'll definitely be recording the episodes because I need a few viewings of the episodes before we sit down and talk about it on a podcast.
And that your I guess your internet, but your cable provider must have been like, man, those duck nuts are crazy about DuckTales. They just want to get this episode now.
That was the case.
I mean, that's why it's called Disney Now.
Exactly.
So you can watch it now.
Well, let's jump into a few things. First of all, we want to thank you for listening to the podcast. We try to do this each and every week. We enjoy talking, obviously, about DuckTales. We're also going to talk about the Disney Afternoon, some merchandise and stuff on this podcast. We hope you enjoy it. If you do, if you're listening to us on iTunes or whatever podcatcher you're using, please go give us a review, or just give us 5 stars or something like that if you enjoyed it. That helps us a lot. It allows people to find the podcast a lot easier. So thank you for that. We do have some feedback from some of our listeners, and I thought we'd start with that. We typically like to start with some form of feedback, and we had a couple of emails on the same topic. So I picked one of those. We had emails from both Steve, Jared and Steve. And Steve said that after listening to our Season 2 speculation podcast, he had something that he wanted to mention that we might want to talk about. We talked about the boy's dad, but we didn't talk about Webby's parents. I know we've talked about that in the past, but I don't think we talked about it in that episode. Steve says there's some fan speculation of Webby's true origins. A lot of fans think Webby and Mrs. Beakley are not blood relatives. One theory is Webby's parents are shush agents, and they entrusted Miss Beakley, a.k.a. Agent 22, to take care of their daughter. Other theories are that Webby is a princess of a small country that has a power struggle war going on, and Agent 22 has been assigned to protect and train her for her destiny. And so Steve asked, what do we think? Do we have any Webby theories?
Well, I don't think the actual origin story has been told anywhere. Am I correct?
I don't think it has. Talking about the original Webby?
Yeah, like in the DuckTales comics or in classic DuckTales episodes.
I don't believe it has. I don't remember getting anything other than she is Mrs. Beakley's granddaughter.
Yeah, my pirate theory is that in my head, I feel like I want to say Webby's parents are evil, and that maybe Agent 22 saves her or defeats the evil parents and takes Webby for her own.
Sounds a lot like Thor with Loki.
Okay, that might be where I came up with that. But
Webby has ice powers.
It's not true. Loki's pretty badass.
You've got to do that blog now, kind of like the Infinity Gem one that we did with Lena.
Yeah. Okay, maybe. I just put Loki all over.
Yeah. We can Photoshop some Webby faces on Loki's body. Josh is good at that.
Yeah, I definitely, I think I responded to one of those emails, and I think that I definitely want to see more Webby and Beakley episodes, or a centric episode with them. I think the perfect opportunity to do that would be if they did like a different side of the story. One of the episodes we had, Beakley was taking Webby to an island to train or something.
The Hunger Games?
It was something like that. I would love to see what happened on that island, or what happens every year when they go to that island.
Maybe we can get a comic miniseries.
Yeah. Okay, it was the Hunger Games. All right, Josh, your turn.
I actually really like that first theory about how her parents was part of Shush and something happened to them. I actually have no theories whatsoever, but I'm starting to attach myself to that first theory because I think that's a good possibility.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have any elaborate theories. I've been trying to come up with one, kind of a Spider-Man type thing, but I'm just coming up with nothing. I do like this idea that her parents may have been shush agents, and that it would make sense why Beakley would train her and prepare her. There's definitely a reason why she's training her, and feels like, if you remember in the series premiere, she felt like she had to be very protective of her, and Webby, made comments about how she never got to leave the mansion she grew up with. She didn't hear an American accent until she was older. I think that was said in the Beagle Birthday Massacre, whatever it's called now. And so, we've heard those things. There's a reason why Mrs. Beakley was protective of her. And it wasn't until Scrooge was willing to take her out of the mansion that she allowed her to go. So I would like to see that story, and I think we'll get it. I think Webby has a lot of appeal for the show, and I'm really hoping that season 2 capitalizes on that a little bit more. And maybe we get some merchandise.
Always about getting that merchandise.
Jared and Steve, thank you for the emails. And if you have any Webby theories, send those to us. You can either reach us on Twitter at DuckTalks, or you can email them to us, ducktalkspod@gmail.com. We'd love to continue that conversation. And if you have an email you'd like to send with a thought or a question, anything like that for the podcast, definitely send it to ducktalkspod@gmail.com and let us know that you'd like for us to, or that we can use it on the podcast. We had another communication from a fan, this time by Twitter, and this was in response to a conversation that we had in the last podcast. We were talking about, I think Josh brought it up. I'll put that on you. We were talking about how there was a lot of confusion last season with the digital rollout, and how it was Volume 1 and Volume 2. It got split up even though it was a season pass, and there was some confusion. And we did determine that what we purchased for Season 1 was originally labeled Volume 1. So it was labeled correctly. And so we were having that conversation. Juan John Jedi was commenting on that, because when Volume 3 came out, which is Season 2 of DuckTales, see where the confusion is? He says, DuckTalks, this is where the confusion is. It says Volume 3, yet it also says Buy Season Pass. So he included a picture of, it looks like this is from his Apple TV, where it says it is Volume 3, and then Buy Season Pass for $29.99. And there is a lot of confusion there. If you're just getting into digital like I am, it can be confusing figuring out what you're purchasing. I think they should have to detail it up front. It should say, the first half of Season 2 or something like that. Just that way there's no confusion. And I know there is an ongoing lawsuit right now with iTunes over this. So it has more to do with they're including extras. Like, it'll say there's 22 episodes and people think, oh, it's the full season, and then 11 of them are extras, so it's only 11 episodes and 11 extras. And since there were no details stating how many actual episodes there were, that's where they're getting into some trouble right now. I would expect there to be a Volume 4, a Volume 3, and a Volume 4, especially we've discussed this online, with that $29.99. Season 2 will probably come out to be about $30 if you pay, $60 if you pay full price digitally. But watch for sales. Amazon hasn't listed it yet. The second season isn't on there. I heard they're having some issues, and I definitely believe that to be true, because a couple weeks ago I got the first season of Resistance for $2.99. I'd say they've paused all their season rollouts until they can fix that.
So the Volume 3, we kind of think that it might pertain to, since the first season was split into Volume 1 and Volume 2, the Volume 3 is just the next half of the season. That is kind of what we're expecting that to be, right? That's why it was kind of confusing, because it was labeled strangely, not Season 2.
Right, yeah, it's labeled Volume 3, and if you purchase the volume, it's called a Season Pass, which kind of makes you think it might be the full season. See the confusion?
Yeah, I think they should just label it the entire volume or volume pass and not the whole season.
Yeah. Now that's only on the Apple TV, because if I look at it on my handheld device on my iPhone, the option to purchase it doesn't say anything about it being a season. It just says $29.99. But if you bring it up on an Apple TV, it says buy season pass $29.99. So, yeah, they're going to end up with some more negative reviews if they don't get that fixed or get the word out. Volume 2's reviews are going up, so that's good. Keep sending in those good reviews. The show needs good reviews. I get it. It didn't, but that's happening on all shows that are being released digitally. But it's just what it is right now. I would buy it expecting it to be half the season, and if you end up getting the full season, man, that's a deal at $30.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, we talked about some rumors. We made sure we put a disclaimer on there that it was not confirmed at that time. We also came across some more information right after the episode. Actually, it may have been while I was editing the episode. I think it was before it was actually released. But shortly after that, were able to confirm it, that those episode titles that we discussed are in fact true. They are the next 3 episodes. So episodes 3, 4, and 5. And we got episode descriptions. So let's take a look at those. We already talked about and we made some kind of guesses as to what the episodes might be. But episode 3 is The Ballad of Duke Baloney. And that's going to be out on Saturday, November 3rd. Here's the description. You're going to like this, Pirate. After his disappearance, Glomgold resurfaces as anything but his ever-scheming self, while Webby and Louie try to uncover the truth behind who is Duke Baloney.
He returns.
Now, before this was confirmed to be true, Frank Angonas was asked on Tumblr when we would see Glomgold again, and he said it would be episode 3. So that was an indication this was, this description was going to be true. And it has shown up on the Disney press page. So this is confirmed. Episode 3 will include Glomgold.
I've missed him so much. I mean, he wasn't in the first episode of the season.
He won't be in the second one either.
But Launchpad was in the first one, so we're good.
And it was one of the best gags in the episode, as always.
We'll get into that later, but of course it was.
What do you think? He's not his ever-scheming self. What's going on?
Well, we did see from San Diego Comic-Con that there was like a young Glomgold, so I don't know if that will be in this one. Mm-hmm. Or maybe a flashback or something. But yeah, and we might even see that other character that runs Glomgold Industries, so who knows?
Or what if somebody body swapped with Glomgold, and so Glomgold's really the Duke of whatever
Baloney.
What is it? The Duke of Baloney? What if Glomgold's really
Baloney
the Duke of Baloney?
Trampoline.
Or maybe he's full of baloney, and at the end of the episode, he just laughs at you because he tricked people the whole time into thinking he was different.
I'm wondering if we already get some of the hints that there's been some time travel stuff going on, and maybe it ends up being the mystery. What's going on with Glomgold? Why is he actually sending cakes without bombs in them to the mansion? Stuff like that. And then there's some kind of indication that the past has changed. Kind of a Back to the Future, 2 kind of thing. Be interesting. Play the long game. We know they'll do it. What'd you think about Webby and Louie teaming up?
Dewey?
We're used to Webby and Dewey, but I said Louie.
You did.
Part of that new... What's the business called?
Louis Inc. Louis Adventures Inc.
Yeah, Adventures Inc. So the Duke of Bologna is a classic Barks character. I want to take that away. He's not a classic character. I think he was only in one story. But the whole point was that he was the second richest duck in the world. So maybe this does have something to do with Glomgold. It could be Glomgold. You might be onto something there.
I'm onto it. Yes.
But in that comic, Donald dressed up as the Duke of Bologna and impersonated him to trick Scrooge or something. I've not read it. I've only read some synopsis. I've only read some descriptions. And so that's interesting. Well, let's look at the next one. So the next episode will be the town where everyone was nice. There were some rumblings online that this would be a Three Caballeros story, and it is. Donald reunites with his band, the Three Caballeros, while the family takes in the sights of a Brazilian town with a dark secret. Josh, I got a question for you. Have you ever been to Bahia?
No.
Pirate? Have you ever been to Bahia?
No.
Have you ever been to Bahia, Pirate?
No.
Oh, forgive me, but have you been to Bahia, Donald? No? Well, let's go. If you go to Bahia, my friend, you'll never return. E muita sorte teve, muita sorte tem, e muita sorte terá. Have you been to Bahia, Donald? Well, let's go.
It probably sounded funnier in his head.
It was hilarious in my head.
He's been waiting the whole show to do it, I'm sure.
No, it just came to me. It's not even in the notes.
Blooper reel.
No, that's totally going in. I'm leaving it. There's and I don't know if it's from, because I've never seen Three Caballeros, or is it Dos Amigos? Is that the other one? There's more than one Caballero movie.
Saludos amigos.
That's it. Saludos amigos. Because I was thinking
amigos.
There's still three of them. Huh?
I love how you called it Dos Amigos.
Well, I couldn't think of what it was. But in the clip that I've seen, it's Jose and Donald. And it's about a Brazilian town called Bahia.
Yeah, I believe that was in Saludos Amigos.
That's the town where everyone was nice.
But then I have heard that song.
See? You're going to look it up when we're done. And I'm going to put it in this episode.
Looking it up right now.
I'm going to put it in this episode. What do you think about Donald reuniting with his band? The Three Caballeros is a band.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We all know from this summer that the Three Caballeros has a big fan base that have been salivating from the mouth ever since that some new series was kind of released. So
what new series?
Yeah. It's pretty exciting news. Bring on the duck merch.
I think it's cool that they're going to be a band. That makes a lot of sense. Because Donald wasn't adventuring anymore, or actually, I guess this could have taken place before he started adventuring with Scrooge. It'll be interesting anyway. And people have been asking for more Donald, and we've at least got more Donald happening here. All right, and so episode 5 of this season will be Storkules and Duckburg. Louie recruits Storkules for his professional monster extermination business, while Storkules faces his greatest challenge, being Donald's roommate.
So yeah, we're getting a lot of Donald in this season, which is fantastic.
It's like they're listening.
It's like they listen to us.
And Louis confirmed to working on his business. That's the start of his the arc that they were talking about in this season.
Yeah, a professional monster extermination business. He's gone to a whole new level from Adventures Incorporated. I'm picturing Ghostbusters, but with monsters.
Do 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 do.
Who you gonna call?
Storkules.
All right.
We'll edit that part out.
No, we won't. You said one take. It's all going in. that's the next 3 episodes. Sounds like a lot of fun, a lot to look forward to. And this week, I mean, we've got the Feathery episode coming up. It's going to be amazing. Everyone's excited. People are going nuts over this character.
Yeah, they're nuts. Like that blog you put about Feathery blew up. So I can't wait to get introduced to this version of that character and see what kind of shenanigans are going to be going on.
Speaking of our blog, DuckTalks.com, that's where you can find us on a daily basis. We had a couple of guest blogs the last few weeks, and we wanted to kind of feature them on the podcast. One of those blogs is by Eric, who's a friend of the show. He's got a great YouTube channel. He's done some unboxings. He likes to talk about the Disney parks and the Walt Disney Company. Definitely check that out. We'll include a link in the notes to this podcast. Eric's a good friend. We talk with him a lot online. He's always game for talking about ducks. When we enjoy having other people write blogs for DuckTalks as well. And he's had a couple of ideas he's been batting around, and he said this was something he'd like to write about before the season started. And so we put it out there before the season premiere. But he had a couple of questions. We're not going to go into his blog, but just to give you an idea so that you'll go to DuckTalks and read it. His blog is about mysteries that he'd like to see solved in season 2. And so his first one was, how did Della end up on the moon? His second one is, where did Magica run off to? And his third one is, where is Lena? And those are definitely 3 questions going into this season that I would like to see answers to. And he wrote a great blog about it, so go check that out. Another friend of the show, Jason, and Jason's actually been on the podcast. When we did our introduction to Kingdom Hearts, we wanted a Kingdom Hearts expert. And so we went to our pal Jason, and he wrote a blog for us this month about the Kingdom Hearts mobile game. And Pirate, I know you know a little more about this than I do, so won't you explain a little bit what this blog is about?
Yeah, they added some really fun classic mini games to the Kingdom Hearts app. And the cool part is, if you play through these games and you reach certain scores or certain objectives are obtained, you receive a code. And that code can be used to unlock an exclusive Keyblade for Sora, the main protagonist in Kingdom Hearts series, in the new Kingdom Hearts 3 game that's going to be coming out early next year. So it's really a cool way to reward players that have been playing this app. So I'm definitely going to try to get it because I want whatever this exclusive Keyblade is going to be.
And he gives tips on how to accomplish this in the blog.
Yeah, it's a great blog. And I know a couple people who hadn't been playing the Kingdom Hearts app downloaded it because it was a good description of how you can play these games, and they're actually really fun. And like I said, everybody likes to get rewarded with something for putting in time for that, so that's great.
It caught me off guard when I first saw some of the screenshots that he included in the blog, because it looks like those little LCD games that we had when we were kids.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of fun. We are definitely thankful for those blogs and for those friendships. Check those out at the at DuckTalks.com and let them know, in the comments or on Twitter. Give us some feedback on that as far as, what are the mysteries that you're looking forward to in season 2 of DuckTales? Or did you agree with Eric? Do you have some theories or some ideas? And also let us know if you're playing Kingdom Hearts mobile game, and let Jason and us know how your progress is going at DuckTalks on Twitter. Well, let's go to one of the staples of our show. Let's talk about some Duck merch.
Duck merch, woohoo!
We'll let Josh kick this one off.
Oh, I get to kick it off. The first thing that was announced this week was the new wave of the Funko figures for Disney Afternoon, which includes Gidget, Gizmo Duck.
Did you say Gidget?
You said Gidget?
Did I say Gidget? Dang it. Let's start that over. Which includes Gadget.
What's her last name?
Gidget.
Heck Wrench.
Someone put that on Twitter, and I was like, "Is that right?" I had to look it up.
I put that.
Did you put that? I had to look it up.
If you Google it. Yeah.
Sorry, Josh.
So it's got Gadget, Louie, and then we got Gizmo Duck, and then the final one, which I'm trying to pull up because I accidentally closed it, is Launchpad.
And
that's a great lineup, and we were actually really surprised. It was a surprise announcement. We weren't expecting it. We were expecting more waves, but we weren't expecting them to announce it on that day. So really cool. Really cool and great additions to it. It seems like they're sticking to the 4 franchises that they did for the previous Disney Afternoon action figure waves, which was DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, and Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
So I was going to say, with Rescue Rangers now, we're only going to be missing one of the characters, Monterey Jack.
I know, we need a free Monterey Jack. I mean, I obviously, that definitely makes me think that there's going to be a wave 3 at least in this series, just to get Monterey Jack, because you're not going to do 4 of the Rescue Rangers and leave Monterey Jack out of it. So I think there's definitely going to be another wave coming at some point.
And to be clear, the Louie is not King Louie.
Yeah, but it says King Louie on the packaging. That's weird.
Well, I mean, I can see where they want to differentiate from the Louie from DuckTales, just in case someone's just reading a release and not seeing the images. But yeah, it's a great looking figure. These blew me away. I don't know what I was expecting out of Wave 2, but this wasn't it. Gizmo
Duck. I mean, that's incredible. And then the Darkwing Duck one, that is the Launchpad version of Darkwing,
which I have said on this podcast is my favorite.
Darkwing version of Launchpad. So yeah, this is a great wave, and they retail for $10.99 or $9.99 online. Mm-hmm. You can find them on Amazon or a couple of other retailer websites. Entertainment Earth has them. They should be out really soon. I know Amazon had them for Prime shipping, so
I think they're up for pre-order.
Yeah. Some places had them in November and some said October. So we'll see when they actually come in. But definitely a great time to start picking up Wave 1 if you don't have it yet, because those are on clearance at a whole bunch of different places, including GameStops. You definitely don't want to get to Wave 2 or Wave 3 and not have the complete collection. So I know, Mitch, I think Josh has all of them, right?
Yeah, I have all of them, including the variant from the first wave, and I'm actually surprised there's not a variant on this wave, or at least a 5th figure. Yeah. Well, I'm glad there's not a variant, but I'm surprised they didn't do a 5th one to round off the amount from the first wave.
Yeah, they could have given not King Louie a pink shirt. I mean.
Yeah, that could have been the variant.
I've fallen for that already. They've already done that. But yeah, these definitely are great characters to add to it. I think the Gidget, or as Josh calls it, Gadget, hack wrench figure is really cool. I think that's going to look good next to Chip and Dale and Zipper, who we already have.
I have an update.
So, yeah.
I did pick up Baloo for $3.50.
Yeah, you got him at GameStop?
Yep.
Yeah, so GameStop had them for 75% off of the clearance price. So they were a bargain.
Yeah, it was like $3.25 and then tax. So
beautiful.
Great buy.
I know Target had them on sale. Most of them have sold out that I've seen there. But yeah, apparently they needed to put them on clearance because more are coming.
Well, and at my store, they did not have the sign up. I took it up to the register and asked him to price it for me, and he said $9.99. I was like, "Isn't it on sale?" Or I said, "Isn't it on clearance?" And he goes, "I thought you just wanted to know what the retail price was." I was like, "Why would I want to know what the retail price is?"
And then he wanted to sell you on a GameStop Gamers Club.
He didn't even ask me.
You got lucky.
Oh.
I know. It was amazing. I mean, I guess he figured after that blunder he couldn't.
Oh, for sure.
Pass.
So let's pretend that we're putting together a wave 3.
This is totally what I was going to say next.
Wave 3 with the 4 franchises. I mean, we of course would love to see any of the other ones like Gummy Bears or Goof Troop.
Give me my Gosselin first.
Yeah. So obviously we're gonna have Monterey Jack represent Rescue Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd even. I mean, you could eventually add like a Fat Cat or any other characters like that. But I feel like after I have Monterey Jack, I have the complete Rescue Rangers collection. I don't know if I need any more than that.
I agree.
So, what about Darkwing Duck?
Gosselin.
Oh, Goslin. Yeah.
You have to have Gosselin.
Gosselin would be great. Morgana would be good because they made a mystery mini, and Funko likes to use the same characters. I feel like from different lines. So, if, for example, for Wave 1, they made a Negatron action figure, which you would think that's kind of random, but they used Negatron for a Funko Pop, and they used them in the mystery mini series. So if you see them in other series, you think they would be a given to be in this action figure series. So maybe Morgana could make it into it eventually, or Negatron, not Negatron, Negaduck.
Yeah. I'd would definitely like a Negaduck.
Oh yeah, any of the any of the bad guys, Bushroot would be great. Megavolt.
I think once you get into DuckTales, though, you've got a real problem.
I would agree there.
Unless Wave 3 is going to be huge, because you have to do the nephews.
Yeah, and I feel like that would have to be a 3-pack.
Have they done that? Is there a precedent for Funko doing a 3-pack figure?
Well, they've done a 2-pack that had Dale and Zipper in it, but I mean Zipper's kind of like an accessory, small size character.
Yeah. I wonder if they would do them separately. I mean, I feel like $9.99. I mean, it's.
Or if you're doing a 2-pack, if you did a 2-pack, you could do the kind of the thing that Fat Mojo did, where they had. You could have Webby in one with the character, and.
But does anybody really want a Webby from the original DuckTales?
Man, you know what? You're probably starting a fight somewhere on the internet. So
hey, listen. I love Webby in the new DuckTales, but let's just be honest. Webby in the old DuckTales was really horribly used.
Well, they did make Funko has a Pocket Pop keychain original Webby, Funko Pop original Webby, and a Mystery Mini original Webby, so it could happen.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I am totally wrong.
And I have all those. But yeah, we're excited for this series.
You left out Tailspin.
Wait, what?
Oh,
left
that
out
was going to be
Tailspin.
Shere Khan. It's got to be Shere Khan.
You don't think it'd be Kit?
As much Shere Khan as we've got already.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I would love to see Kit or Rebecca, but I think it's going to be Shere Khan only because they seem to love him. They have 2 Funko Pop Shere Khans from Tailspin, a Mystery Mini, and I think that's who they would pick.
I mean, I'm not saying I won't buy a Shere Khan figure, because I will. I'm just saying I think Kit would be first. Is Negatron's the only villain we've had so far, right, in these figures?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see Don Carnage, but they haven't done anything from him yet.
Release Don Carnage, dang it.
We'll have to do a hashtag
Release
Don Carnage, you coward stuff.
Let's do it. I'm tweeting it right now. I got to find a good Don Carnage GIF.
I'll have to say I did get some DuckTalks merch this week with my TeePublic order. The design that Brian Brian did for us. Brian Danger is fantastic. It looks awesome on the shirts. I picked up the Pirate Duck shirt that it's kind of like the Spirit jerseys. You know, people are all hyped about Disney Spirit jerseys. So it's a Spirit T-shirt because it has the Pirate Duck image and it has DuckTalks on the back, just like all the cool kids are wearing.
Yeah, it looks good too.
Yeah, right.
Posted some pictures.
So that was cool, and then I got our Pirate DuckTalks logo with the three of us in it. Looks really cool. I'm bringing both of them on vacation with me this week, so I hope to get some cool pics on my trip.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm going to order some eventually. I can't decide which ones. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, and they're on sale all the time from TeePublic. You just got to be on the lookout for there. We'll definitely let y'all know. But it's really cool merch. I love the designs. I really want I want Brian to make us some more pictures. He is the official artist of DuckTalks. So maybe we'll get some holiday design or something for Christmas.
Oh, that'd be cool. Hey, we've got one other thing in Duck merch to talk about. We did a review for DuckTales Adventures Guide, Explorers Skills and Outdoor Activities for Daring Kids. This was a book, we've been talking about it for, seems like a couple of years now, even though the podcast is a year old. Been talking about it for a while, and I realized a couple episodes back that my pre-order had been canceled and I had not pre-ordered it. We actually reached out to Media Labs, letting them know that we were interested in doing a review, and they sent me a copy. It's an excellent book. Been reading it and having a blast with it. It's got a ton of interesting facts and information, and it's all done with connections to the show. It's a book that really, the subject matter of the book could be written without DuckTales, but they used images from DuckTales. They include references to storylines from the show. And for any kid, I mean, it's definitely a kid's book, but for any kid, it's a great gift. If you know a little adventurer who enjoys the show, they'll love this book. Lexi actually has it under her pillow right now. She's been reading through it, and she's dog-eared a bunch of pages. I think I mentioned in the review that she's marked some stuff about packing. There's tips on how to pack a bag for hiking, and tips on how to go canoeing. So I noticed that she had marked those. So this summer, we'll definitely take the book with us as we go on those adventures. It's a great book. Highly recommend it. And you can get it at Amazon.com. I think the last time I saw it on there, it was like $10 and something. Our review has a link to Amazon. Of course, that's an affiliate link, so you actually support DuckTalks at no additional cost if you purchase from one of our links from our blog. Yeah, and anytime you can do that we appreciate you helping us out that way, because it helps us to be able to provide you with more content at DuckTalks, both on the podcast and on the website. Wow, that was a lot to talk about in this episode, but guess what? We have a episode of DuckTales to review. So this week's episode is the most dangerous game night. Still, I'm not saying that right.
The most dangerous game night. Just...
If you've never listened to our show before, I'm just going to move on. If you've never listened to our show before, when we have talked about an episode of DuckTales, because believe me, there are more episodes of our podcast where we do not talk about an episode of DuckTales than there are episodes of DuckTales. We like to do a 30-second recap of the episode before we go in and talk about our favorite moments. So, I have the randomizer up right now. There are 3 of us. Josh is no longer our guest, so he doesn't go first. I'm pulling a 2. I'll let you fight over who's next.
You want 1 or 3? Oh, man.
Oh, you got
3
one.
is the safe number.
It's a 2. It's rigged. All right, here we go. That's ridiculous. We are introduced to the Duck family who's adventuring like a well-oiled machine, except Louie doesn't want to be there. They get back to the mansion, and Louie tries to convince everybody not to go on any more adventures. Gyro shows up with a shrinking ray that also allows them to listen in on a bunch of little people that are in the mansion. Scrooge goes crazy because he's interested in game night, picks Donald as his partner. I'm running out of time. Louie saves the day. That's it.
What?
That probably would have worked better.
Should have you got shrunk.
I'd say there was a shrink ray.
Mm.
So what did you guys think about this episode?
That was a good first episode for the new season. No Darkwing or Gizmo Duck, but it was good.
I liked all the different things in it that alluded to the original show and also to like Indiana Jones. I really liked the Indiana Jones part.
It was a whole entire episode that took place inside the mansion, which came out really great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's not a filler episode. I mean, obviously it's the premiere episode, so I mean it's a big deal, and they very quickly recap everything that you need to know going into season 2. And I like, it was all really seamless. I think it was done really well. And I enjoyed being back in the mansion. I know a lot of times I see people online complaining because they want more of the world adventures. And I think we've had a pretty good mix of that in season 1. I felt like we had world adventures and we had Duckburg adventures. And I want Duckburg adventures too. So I enjoyed being at the mansion. And it started off with an adventure.
Yeah, it's very Indiana Jones-ish.
And I liked seeing how the team has come together for the most part. It was interesting, you know, when we saw Dewey and Webby harmonizing and working together as a duo.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
I like how the golden idol, Duck Idol, was what we got as an accessory from the Fat Mojo Scrooge McDuck.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. They had some really cool Easter eggs in there with the treasure map being the treasure map from the credit scene from classic DuckTales.
Yeah, and there was also that image of Louie with that shrink ray, and it really reminds me of the scene in the intro where Dewey's holding some kind of ray with the one eye closed.
That was a shrink ray too, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Launchpad had some really good gags in this one. I love how he kept calling Louie on the phone.
Yeah.
And he just answered the phone like it was regular.
And when those Jenga pieces started to fall, I mean, total silence in our house. And gasps. Until the phone rang.
And Scrooge and Donald had that really good line of, I was in the will?
Right. That was great because he tells him, if you mess this up, I'm writing you out of the will. And he's like, I was in the will?
Partner up, everyone! If we lose, you're out of the will.
I was in the will.
Yeah, and that's Charade's game, and what is now a meme of the fish, Scrooge and Donald is just hilarious.
And back to that opening scene and we blogged about this, and also I think I tweeted about it right after I saw it. When Scrooge looks over at Huey, and he's like, "All right, lad, you know," he just kind of says, "You know, you're the brains of this outfit. How do we get through this?" And Huey says, "Step, turn, step, dodge, and step." And then when they do it, the music to the video game plays in the background.
Laddie!
Step, turn, dodge, and step. Step, turn, dodge, and step.
It took me back to, remember when a lot of games you'd have to go left, right, up, down, start, select, or something?
Yeah, that was great.
Did you notice that the picture with Della and Scrooge and Donald was hung above the mantle? thought that was a great point.
Yeah, it seems like if you looked at many of the scenes, Scrooge is more loving of his family. I mean, there's Fergus pictures all over the place. Him and his wife Donnie were in all over the place. Pictures of Scrooge when he's a kid in his office. So it seems like he's more accepting now of everybody.
So this episode was very Louis focused, and we've been told that this season would actually have a Louis arc. There would be something. The whole season would have something to do with Louis, apparently. And I had kind of questioned how far that was going to go, or if that was, just one of the storylines, and maybe it still is. But definitely with this episode, it was all about Louis dealing with his place in adventuring, because everyone else had their place. He felt kind of left out and felt like he wasn't qualified. And he even made the comment that, Mom got stuck on the moon. Or no, Mom got stuck in space, because he doesn't know she's on the moon. And neither do we, apparently. We're not talking about that yet.
No, we heard the moon theme. Come on.
Did they play the moon theme again in that scene?
No.
Oh, okay. They should have. Missed opportunity. I was not expecting Gyro. Oh, wait, hold on. I jumped off of the Louis thing. Squirrel.
So
what'd you think about the overall Louis story? Because, he had an arc in this because he realizes his place.
I'm interested to see where they're going to take it. Having Ben Schwartz and the whole first season be more Dewey-centric, I thought that was fantastic. Louis is kind of more of a laid-back guy, so I want to see how they take it. The first episode was great with him in it. And I love Bobby Moynihan, and Louis is my favorite of the nephews, so we'll see how it goes.
I don't know about you guys, but I really want a Scroogeopoly board game.
That has to be coming at some point, right?
I hope so.
How could they not make that? We're definitely going to take a closer look at it in a blog coming up. I know Pirate sent me like 24 images of the board, so we're going to be taking a closer look at that. But it's got to be something that, it's too close to Monopoly for them to not have already had that discussion, I think.
Hasbro makes so many versions of Monopoly. I'm sure if we sent them a picture of it, they'd be on board.
And I love the artwork on the box because it's very reminiscent of older cartoons.
Yeah, it says it's the Mallard edition.
I was very surprised by Gyro showing up.
Okay, it'll be a weird, stressful night in, but at least there's no
Adventure!
Oh, no.
Oh yes, Green Nephew, behold, the gear-loose microphone capable of amplifying sub-decibelic feedback. Oh. It makes tiny sounds loud.
Go away! We don't want any!
I believe there's a microscopic civilization of wandering nomads invisible to the naked eye, living right here in your home. Listen to the sweet call of adventure.
Nope! Hard pass!
I wasn't expecting him in this episode, but he was vital to the storyline and had some of the best lines in the episode.
We needed Manny, though. I don't know what Manny's been doing since the first season.
He's taking care of the lab.
Right,
well, he's like the hero of Duckburg now, right? Him and Fenton. Frank Angonas was asked on Tumblr if we will see more of Manny in season 2, and his response was, of course, because he's his favorite character. I added that last part. He said, of course. So the end of the episode, there's a lot of great moments. This was a funny episode, and I laughed out loud a lot. I really liked the ending when Louis with Scrooge, and Scrooge asks him, he says, do you know how I made my fortune? And Louis like,
Do you know how I made my fortune?
Yes, by being tougher than the toughies and smarter than the smarties.
And sharper than the sharpies. People don't know about that one. The ability to read a situation and see all the shortcuts and the possibilities.
Your mother could do it. So can you.
And I thought that was a great way, because there's 3 triplets, and each of the triplets, reflect part of Scrooge's personality. And now, before they'd left the Sharpie part alone. They had not included it in season 1, but having recently read through Don Rosa's Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck, I had picked up on where is Sharper Than the Sharpies, and to now have it in there and it to be the explanation for Louie's gifts or abilities. He has the ability to take a look at all the pieces and to think through and put together a plan and find the best shortcut. And that totally makes sense with his character. And like you said, he's lazy. He's always looking for the shortcut. And this, of course, inspires him to create Louie Inc., which is Adventure is Our Business. That's his trademark. Great episode. Great start. And next week, if you didn't know, we get the introduction to Feathery. I think everybody knows at this point. Let's have a return of a segment we've not had in a while. How about some Frankly Speaking? But I promise we're not going to take a look at a bunch of stuff Frank said. I just have one question he was asked and his response. Over on Tumblr, Fanatic Fangirl 2602 asks, anyone else notice that the end of The Most Dangerous Game Night followed the trend Louie pointed out at the beginning of the episode? I mean, here we have number 1, the whoa. We have number 2, the wait, what? All that's missing is the number 3, the ah. Guess that means the beginning of the next episode will be fun. And so Frank responded, the rest of the season is the ah. I think we're going to have a great season. They've sold me. Season 1 was... We said it in our recap episode for season 1. I don't think there's anything I could have asked for that I didn't feel like I didn't get. I definitely had some ideas of things going a different way and didn't see them happen my way, but I'm totally on board with that. I like the way season 1 went, and I like the way season 2's begun. Can't wait to see what's next. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks again for listening to Duck Talks. Definitely, give us a review or a like or whatever on your podcatcher. However it lets you rate the podcast. If you enjoyed this, please let others know. Reach out to us on Twitter. We're at DuckTalks. You can send us an email, ducktalkspod@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out ducktalks.com. You can also contact us individually. We're on Twitter. I am at Infinirama616.
I'm at the Pirate Steven.
You can find me at CCRunner524.
And with that, I think we're going to call it a night. Till next time.
Stay garbled.
Night, guys.
Duck Talks is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds, music, or audio clips played on this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. We do have, I had a review that I did for the blog. It was on DuckTales Adventures Guide, Explorer Skills, and Outdoor Activity. Try that again. Not really. I'm cutting that out.
You know how competitive he gets when he's trying to best an enemy? On game night, we are the enemies.